welcome to the Divine Feminines podcast and channel. I'm your host, Steph Desar, and in today's episode, it has been a while. We are talking full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus, taking place on the 28th or the 29th of October, depending where you are in the world. So before I get started, don't forget to like and subscribe this channel. We're Divine Feminines on all major podcast platforms. That's Apple, Spotify, Google, and we're also on Instagram and TikTok, and you can follow us, and it's Divine Feminines with a Z at the end. Why like and subscribe this channel? We've got everything from moon magic, moon manifestation, becoming your best self, balancing your masculine and feminine energies, and all of that good stuff that I love to share about my own journey, but to empower you to connect your mind, body, and soul together. So whether you're a guy or a girl, there is something for everyone. If you want to be about that good, high vibrational life, that's all I bring to this channel. I have missed you guys. It is Scorpio season, so I had to come back for my season as well. It's been a while. It has been busy, and I like to live by what I say. And you know that I always say in my videos, and when I'm giving advice or sharing my wisdom, I always say we need to keep our cup full, right? And it's been super busy. I have had such an amazing few months. It has been busy. My own personal career has been super busy, and I've been committed to a lot there. And when I've taken time back from that, I just needed to be with myself. And so sometimes I just had to say to myself, hey, something's got to give. I can't try to do everything. And I don't try to do everything. If it feels like I just need rest, I listen to my body. So, and that's a theme with this full moon, especially with Taurus. And so I'm going to get into it, and I'm going to talk about Taurus, energy of Taurus, this full moon, the fact that we're rounding up this eclipse season on the Taurus and Scorpio axis. It's not going to happen again for another 8 years, and this is the last eclipse of the year. We already had a new moon solar eclipse in Libra, which is a different axis that's started to take form. So there's a lot going on there. We've also got Mercury is direct now. We've got Pluto in retrograde. We've also got Jupiter in Taurus, and Jupiter's going to be playing a little bit of a nice number on Taurus in this full moon. Even though it's an eclipse, it still brings in some good luck. And I'm just going to share some wisdom on how that sits being in Scorpio season and the duality of Taurus and Scorpio, the two different ends of the spectrum, but being able to find that balance between the two, because you can, and if you do master that, you can really ride this really well. And I'm also going to give some ideas about journaling, and then I will pull some advice from my animal cards and moonology moon cards. So yeah, let's get stuck in. So the full moon is taking place mainly, I'm going to cover UK and the US East Coast, so like New Yorkers. So for my UK people, it will be on Saturday the 28th of October at 9:24 p.m. So actually, you'll probably be in your house at that time, and if you're indoors, and most of my guys that are ladies and men that are listening to this probably would be chilling out doing some kind of moon ritual. Yeah. And if you're in New York on the East Coast, EST time, it's 4:24 p.m. So yeah, this is happening on the weekend, so it's quite nice, but you probably have felt the energies have been quite intense. I mean, even it's actually, for me, it's interesting because I feel like it's calmed down a bit, but the new moon in Libra's new moon eclipse felt like a full moon, because eclipses, even if it's in a new moon, can feel like you're clearing. So I definitely felt that, and some of you might have really felt that, especially if you've got Libra in your top 3 or you're a cardinal sign. Now, this full moon in Taurus is the final eclipse in Taurus, and we normally go through eclipse seasons of like 2 years. So this is wrapping up. The first one we had, it opened this portal back in November 2021. So we're talking 2 years, and I even had to go, whoa, like, let me go back to November 2021. I was like, oh my gosh, life was different, very different. And I'm sure a lot of you could have said that. I mean, we were like post pandemic times. We were just really still kind of getting back to whatever you want to say is normal, but kind of getting freedom back and being able to do things that we might have wanted to do for a long time. It was still shifting. But I personally felt like spiritually and energetically, I was going through a lot of change. And what I was doing back then in November 2021, and then I look at myself now and I'm like, was that me then? So incredible, like incredible amounts of change, positive change. Now, if you are a Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Leo, you guys would definitely be put through the fucking work, through the works in these 2 years. If you've definitely got those placements in your top three, specifically, or a lot of planetary placements there. And so you probably did go through a lot of transformation. Scorpio has been in the South Node, so it's talking about the past and clearing. And I'll come on to talk about Scorpio in a minute, but it's like letting go of things in the shadow in the past, and that can be quite painful, right? And then Taurus has been in the North Node of the eclipse axis, so like your potential, where you're going. And so striving to clear things, to move in a direction of your highest good, for stability, for finances, to bring in abundance and beauty, but more longer standing. So for those 4 signs I mentioned, you would have probably felt a lot of shifts. Now, to everybody, you probably would have, because it's an eclipse. And the thing is with eclipses, everyone gets a little bit worried and scared. And I'd always say that if you are continually doing the work on yourself and understanding if you need to let go of something in your shadow, or move on from a situation, or make a decision, or kind of cut out and, do things differently, then you won't find it as heavy. But if you are stagnating and holding yourself back from making decisions, and you need to move forward, but you're kind of holding and dragging your feet, or kind of just sort of letting it stagnate, then the eclipse will come in to really revamp that and push it forward. But know that it's always doing it for your highest good. It's always, always, always for your highest good. I remember when the eclipse axis was in Cancer, and I've not had a break. I tell you what, because I'm a Cancer rising, and before the Taurus and Scorpio axis, it was Cancer and Capricorn, and I was like, whoa. And then I went into Taurus and Scorpio, and now it's in Libra. And Libra and Aries, and they're all my top 3. So my last 4 years have been transformational, and the next 2 years will be too. So I ain't had a break, but I'm riding it. I'm still here. I'm here with you guys, and embracing it, because I think, when you really don't have fear and you go into it just being open-minded about becoming your best self, it gets easier. You can embrace it, and you can really be empowered through it. So it's exciting as well. I always look at it like, well, what's going to come to the surface? And in lunar eclipses, things really do come to the surface. But like I said, transport your mind back to November 2021 and what has happened in your life. Taurus being connected to Venus, maybe stories from, that revolve around love, loyalty, or money. So anything that shifted, maybe you're not with the same partner. Maybe you completely moved on from whoever, or maybe you were wrapping something up. Or maybe you were experiencing things ending or starting really to end. I know that a lot of people might relate to that one. I can myself. Not that it doesn't always end at that point, but a lot happens around that time, and then weeks on, maybe a few months on, you notice things just are going in the direction of an ending. And endings are not bad, because I like to try and turn it on its head and go, don't think of it as an ending. Think of things as a new beginning is on its way. And always in that new beginning, it's always going to bring in a better, more positive, more enjoyable, and more fulfilling experience. So on the financial front, eclipses often act as cosmic reset buttons. So Taurus being in the North Node, it's like our potentiality with stability, with finances that connects to career, to business, to entrepreneurship, to creating, real legacy and generational wealth. So, but Taurian energy is an earth energy. So it's not about just like poof, it's going to happen overnight. It's about consistent steps. It's about consistently committing. And I've spoken about, I think earlier in the year, I did do a video, and I was talking about, maybe it was the Taurus new moon, and I was talking about Taurus in Jupiter, or Jupiter in Taurus, and that Jupiter comes in Taurus, and Jupiter's in Taurus at this point and will expand anything in Taurus. But Taurus is also, really about beauty, about the home, about stability, about great abundance, but it's about consistency and also about the love for self. So you need to make sure you're practicing that self-balance, self-love, filling your cup. Because if you go and do too much and you're not taking the time for yourself, something's got to give. And so you need to try and strike that balance. So this is a really good moment, especially if you've been doing stuff back in 2021 of November. And if you look at like business, finances, maybe your business model was changing. Maybe you were looking to change your career or go after something different or go for a promotion or something that was going to expand you. And now you're starting to see that 2 years later, you are much more aligned with what you really wanted, or actually you've been pivoting. So you did want something, but you've been learning along the way that actually, yes, but that's not relevant to me. And oh, that is. And so you've started to do, or you have been filtering through to a point where you've got clarity now. And a lot of clarity may come from this. Maybe you even had some kind of crucial financial economic decision to make, and then you had to embark maybe on a new business or a pivot in the business. This eclipse could really have amplified the effects of those choices, and then it was like really ushering you to prosperity. So you might go, Steph, I don't see the prosperity right this moment. What's going on? Because you might have just been clearing and re-navigating to be on par with your North Node, Taurus, to bring in that abundance, that wealth, the gains, the prosperity, and the heightening areas of, of approaching how the investments are being made. So, are you investing in the right areas? Refocus, invest in other areas, and really, kind of recalibrate on that basis. So now might really be the time, especially if you did some investments then, or even, and it can be monetary investments, and can be investments in, where you're focusing, how you're showing up, what you want to apply yourself, time and energy to. It doesn't always have to be monetary. It's wherever you're investing time, energy, resource, money, whatever, focus, you might really start to see the fruit. Because it's when the day you plant the fruit is not the same day you eat the fruit. The day you plant the seeds, not the same day you eat the fruit. And so the fruit might be really like coming through now. And you'll realize that, or you might realize that the strategy that you had back then in 2021, or the way you were approaching things, didn't really work out over the last couple of years. You learned some things, some bits did, some bits didn't. And now you have a real clarity of what is the place to go. If it was business, maybe you were focusing on a certain targeting of audiences or ways to drive the business and expand it. And over the last couple of years, you've realized those no longer are relevant. They were at that point in time because the marketplace looked different. And now the marketplace has shifted. And actually, what's going to be more tangible longer term for my business is to go after this rather than this, and build business around, this new audience, this new target sector, this new vertical, right? But you wouldn't have known that if you didn't go on the journey. So don't discount yourself and go, oh my gosh, like those 2 years were wasted or whatever that time, because it wasn't, because you've learned so much, and you're not going to go and make those same mistakes again. You're going to apply it and use what you know now into this other focus. So it's all part of the journey. And the North Node in an eclipse, it's all about forward motion. So this is not, when you think that something's being cleared, it's like, oh my God, like I'm taking 3 steps forward and 10 steps backward. No, it's always about forward motion. There's no real trip down memory lane, whereas Scorpio being in the South Node, it was. So we're zooming into the present. We're really just, the Taurus eclipse is tying up the narratives from the past couple of years, and it's clarity just around the corner. Really, you might even feel like I am on the precipice of this breakthrough. And if you feel that, trust it. And it could be a breakthrough of real clarity of how you're going to do something. Maybe an opportunity comes in. Maybe that new love walks through the door. Or the way that you've been approaching love and your relationship needed to shed skin, and you had completed certain cycles, and now it's a new cycle, it's a new adventure, or it's the end of that adventure with that person. And it's hard to let go, but it's pivoting us to the new, where something new is coming in for us, and it's for forward motion, it's for positive. So this is, if you've been a bit contemplative and really reflecting about relationships, or teetering on the precipice of a new love story, major moves like separation or solidifying commitment. You might have felt that your relationship's been a bit rocky, or you've not been on the same page, but you've had to take a step back, and now you've got clarity, and it's like, yeah, and you're both wanting to charge forward and kind of make it work, and it's taking the next level. Or you're like, no, the right thing to do is to move on. And so just allow whatever's coming up to, to take its form, and don't be afraid, because my advice is that it's better that you, if you're feeling it, to take the action. It is inspired action. Otherwise, the eclipse kind of takes the action on you, and then you kind of almost feel like it's happening to you. But it should never feel like that if you're in charge, in a good way, not controlling to a point where it's like forcing things. But there's more to this. Like, the October lunar eclipse isn't just a spectacle in the sky. It asks you to reflect on the wisdom you've gained since November. So really, anything that you've gained in terms of a major financial shift or a challenge, or, back then, you might really have the answer to what, back then you might be like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And like over the last couple of years, you've really seen things shift, and things might even not come clear this week on the actual full moon, but in the couple of weeks to come, a lot of hidden things come out. It's very interesting, because I personally, in the full moon in Scorpio earlier this year, we had an eclipse, the final full moon eclipse in Scorpio back in, what was it, early May. And a lot of things were surfacing there for me, and I knew it, I could feel it. And then again, I've already seen like things that are hidden, information coming up, things being exposed. And it might not necessarily be about me, but it's in the vicinity, in the environment I'm in. And I'm like, wow, but then this does have a connection to me. Now, I mentioned it before, and I love this time of the year because I'm a Scorpio sun and it's Scorpio season. So what does that mean? Well, actually, it is a passionate time. Scorpio is the 8th house, other people's money, sex, finances, inheritance, ancestors, that kind of stuff. Also, it's a very transformative energy, co-ruled sort of by the Pluto and the Mars. Pluto is actually, which I realized and learnt the other day, is also the planet that's also known for riches and wealth. Now, Scorpio is very different to Taurus. So this is the duality here. Taurus is all about, the stability, what you can see, what you can feel, home, finances, beauty, and all of that. And so it's more of the external, but also internally, how you love yourself, balance, self-love, care, and nurture. But it's more of the tangible, whereas Scorpio is what you don't see. It's in the shadows, it's the mysterious, it's the deeper, darker sort of sides of us, but not in a bad way. Everyone kind of gets scared of Scorpio energy. Why? It's the transformative. It's the why I love it, and why I find it like true alchemy. And being a Scorpio sun, I've learned so much on my journey that when I transmute pain and frustration and any of that kind of, any of those energies, and I transmute into joy and love and fulfillment, that is my alchemizing for manifesting. Scorpionic energy is very powerful in it manifesting. If you know a Scorpio or anyone with large large amounts, of highly concentrated Scorpio chart. A lot of my planets are in Scorpio, like Mercury and Jupiter, and or even more, my sun is about 4 or 5, whatever, all in house 5, which is another fun Leo house. But you'll notice that they will transform and they will continually refine and work on themselves. Scorpio energy is an energy of like really wanting to become your best self, really not being afraid at looking at the insecurities, the flaws, the ways that we show up that, you know, sometimes we don't want to admit, where our inhibitions and things. But that is where, when we confront those areas and those parts of us that we kind of might keep away and we kind of turn a blind eye to, when we pay attention to those areas and we show them love, we can push them to the light, and it brings us into a higher vibration. So in this moment, you will be feeling the shift of this full moon in Taurus, and things coming to the surface that might be really tangible and really like, oh my God, I've got a breakthrough. I'm starting to really see how this relationship's starting to go to the next level, or it's ended and I need to go here, and or my business is starting to really like show me that I am ready to move in this direction because I've made the learnings. But at the same time, Scorpio energy is asking you to, what is it that you need to release? What is it that is no longer serving you? Is there limiting beliefs? Are there fears? Are there insecurities or inhibitions? Do you have a feeling of, if it's your business, you could be doing great stuff tangibly, but there is still a subconscious feeling of lack, and that is connected to self-worthiness. Like, I am not, deep down, there is a feeling of like unworthiness, which then will affect the ability to magnetize and attract abundance or prosperity through your business. And you might not think that the two are connected, but everything connects back to our shadow. And this is why shadow work is so powerful. So this is what's coming up at this time. Now, you might think, oh my gosh, I'm very good at doing the sort of tangible 3D stuff. But when it comes to like going into my shadow, taking time alone, because Scorpio energy can be kind of loner energy where you are having to be alone. But, you know, I truly believe those that can be on their own and face themselves and spend that time alone have the ability to truly love themselves, and then can show up and love others. So it is a beautiful quality that everyone should cultivate, not just, oh, let the Scorpios go do it, or those that kind of, you know, especially if you're an air, an earth, or air, earth, or a fire sign, and you don't have a lot of water in your chart. When it's Scorpio season, it might feel very uncomfortable for you because it's not innate in your, and you're being pulled into this kind of energy of like having to go into your shadow. So it's a highly transformative time. Try and use this moment to really navigate. You can see where where the Scorpio sun sits in your chart. So wherever Scorpio is, if you look at your natal chart, and for this Taurus full moon, where that is for you. So you'll be able to see the two different houses. Mine are Scorpio sun's in house 5, it's romance, entertainment, big risks, creativity, passion. And then Taurus is in my house 11, the opposite, which is networks, fame, public image, and all of that. And building prosperity that can come from career and gains of that from the 10th house. So those two, quite interesting. They're very connected in passion and creativity and networks, but there's two different sides to that, right? It's my shadow and transforming in my 5th house, coupled with the building stability and growth in terms of who I am and my network and how I'm showing up. So I'm just trying to give you that vibe, but you might find that you can't balance the two, but try to see if there is an ability to allow that balance, because if you can do the two and try to find balance with the two, this is where you're really hitting a very sharp vibrational opening for alchemy and manifesting what you really want. So yeah, these are really powerful moments. Scorpio energy is quite hot and sharp, so you might be feeling yourself a lot, feeling quite frisky and feeling very much just passionate. Scorpio is it's a water sign, but it's a water sign in the strength of like, it's intense, but it's passionate. It is strong, it is wild. It's very different from the Cancer and the Piscean energy. You can see like Scorpio energy is transformative. You will see the change. If you know Scorpios that are in their high vibration, so because you have different levels of a Scorpio, you'll notice that the ones that do the work will show up with real power, but have a real sense of knowing themselves. And I've even been said, I've had many people go, no, you can't be a Scorpio. And I'm like, why? And they're like, oh, because they're really fierce and they can be quite like, oh, like not so very, they can be quite tough to deal with. They can be quite intense. They can cause problems. People get quite a bad, Scorpios get a bad rap. And I was like, well, I'm a Scorpio that does the work. So I worked on my shadow. I'm a Scorpio eagle, if I want to say it. I'm able to fly. But I have a Libra moon that might balance me out. But I really believe that Scorpios are incredible, like Scorpio suns and risings. Those that have them in their top three, they can be very incredible people to be around because they're good examples of those that can really work with the deep dark shadows and transform. And to be honest, we all should be able to do that, but they get a tougher journey of doing it. But having to be able to do that and transform can bring in so much greatness. And so it is a real skill of like practicing alchemy, because that's how we alchemize, right? We're here on earth to transmute low vibrations to high vibrations, to emit from the dark to the light, and it's where we go through the darkness that we find the light. But we need both. And this journey is not just going to be like, oh, there's some parts of it that's dark and then we just go into the light. It just doesn't work like that. We will be bouncing back and forth, and we will continually be doing that exercise. So the more you get into it, the better it is. Now imagine this, you work on your shadow and you're able to see the inhibitions and the insecurities, or the lack thereof, and then you're able to transmute it in Scorpio season. And with the Taurus full moon, the eclipse energy will reset the button and bring in that abundance, that love, that greatness that you've been waiting for. So don't be afraid to look at your shadow at this time. Don't be afraid to stand strong and be bold and just be in that. I don't know, this season is just so great. Like, I don't know, I was like saying to myself, have I felt this like vibes in a Scorpio season like this before? But because I'm in London right now, as you probably can tell, and I'm always on the move, but to feel so hyped up and be in London, that's how I know it's not about where I am, it's about what's going on inside. And so I'm really feeling the vibe right now, and I hope you guys can ride this wave too and really enjoy and embrace it. So, a couple of things. If you are going to do some journaling, because Jupiter is in conjunct with Taurus at this time, Jupiter's there in Taurus until May of 2024. So, still got a nice ride there. Jupiter is expanding anything where Taurus sits in your natal. So, wherever that is, you can calculate your natal chart and then work out where Taurus is. It will bring a great abundance. And so this eclipse will be removing anything in the way of that. So this is why it's important, because then imagine the next 6 months. Whew, child, it's going to be great. So, yeah, you definitely have an opportunity to just practice gratitude. What is the things that you've really learned in the last 2 years, and what are you really grateful for? I know I'm grateful for you guys being here, and the fact that I might have taken a little bit of a break, but to know that a lot of you will be there on the other end when I share this, and it brings me so much joy and love to my heart. I'm grateful for the wisdom I've learned over the last couple of years, especially in career and in love and in my own personal growth and personal journey. So much greatness, and I've had such great experiences in those 2 years. Some of them were tough, but then they were necessary for me to experience the greatness on the other end, and the greatness is continuing. So I'm really, really proud and happy to share that with you guys, and more to come. So practice your gratitude, but then also think about, because Taurus can be, the Taurian, the bull kind of energy, can be a bit stubborn and hard to let go of. But this eclipse is asking you to let go of something. So what is it that you might have been holding on to? Maybe you've been doing something in your business or, you know, in your relationship that isn't serving and it's actually playing against you, right? So think about what you could let go of. Maybe you don't want to come to terms with that, but what is it that you might be doing? It might be some way that you're showing up in your relationship or the way that you behave towards your partner, or it could be an investment activity that you do with your business, or it's the way that you run the business that, you know, you might take on a lot more for yourself and you're not like delegating, or you are delegating, but why is it that you're still having to do so much? There's got to be maybe some fine tuning, and maybe the way that you've been managing the business model needs to change. And so are you clinging on to doing things a certain way, but you haven't really questioned why you do them that way? Maybe because you just think that there's no other way out, but then you've just put yourself in a box. So take yourself out of the box and throw the box in the bin and start again. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because you've got nothing to lose then. You're starting to open the door to doing things differently. So what are you clinging on to? What can you let go of? And what will let going of that mean? It could open so many other doors. So then it gives you the inspiration to think beyond that. So I hope that that helps with the journaling side of stuff. Now I want to talk through some channeled messages. We're going to look at the moon cards, moonology cards, and then the animal spirit guide cards. So highest and best messages, please, for the Divine Feminine Soul Tribe. Please, Spirit, at this time. Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Metatron, please bring in the highest and best messages at this time. Let's see what we've got, guys. Ooh. Okay, maybe not. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Trust all will be well. New moon in Virgo. Virgo's obviously the new moon in Virgo was in September. Maybe something did happen in September, but trust all will be well. And that's a really good message, because at this point, you know, there might be some uncertainty. Things might shift. Like I said, sometimes the eclipse will bring in a tower moment, or because you've been holding on and it just needs to push it out the way for you because you're not kind of getting the message. But at the same time, you might get the message and you know that you need to move on, but you're like, oh, but what's next? If I've been doing things this way for so long and I stop, well, what's going to happen? So be open and be excited about the fact that whatever's going to happen is going to be great, and know that it's going to be well. It's working in your favor. I always like to say things are always working out for me. Things are always working out for me. Things are always working out in my favor. Okay, so I really like that one. Any more, please, Spirit? Let's see if we can get like one or two more. Whatever wants to come through. We're not gonna. I don't like to force things. Have we got another one? Attend to the details. More Virgo energy. Last quarter moon in Virgo. So there's definitely something about Virgo, and Virgo is definitely the hermit as well in tarot, going a bit within, but attending to the details. So this could really be where I'm saying, don't disregard stuff when it comes to business or the way you've been doing stuff. Maybe there's some details there that you might not be paying attention to, that you just let slide, and then they could be changed up. So don't just sort of give it a blind eye and avoid, because avoidance is an easy way to escape and not deal with stuff. Okay, we've got two more, and then I think I'm going to move on to the animal cards. Oh, we've got new moon in Cancer. Relax. I love that one. And this is a time to get balance. With this full moon and it being a lunar eclipse, it is advised to take rest. But like I said, with Taurian energy, we do need to make sure we rest as well. So there's that balance between filling our own cup and then doing it and trying to build. So there's that. And then we've got the new moon in Gemini, think it through. That's interesting. So relax. Get some relaxation, don't rush, think things through. I think the think things through and attend to the details come quite nicely together, because when you think things through properly and you allow yourself to go, okay, do you know what, I might need to really look at the way my business model runs, or the way that I'm showing up in myself, whatever that is. And as you think it through and you start to look at those details, something might just pop out at you and you go, I keep doing this like this. I don't need to do that though, do I? So question things, definitely. But in balance of all of that, make sure this weekend you are taking some relaxation and you are taking time for yourself. And when you are doing that, trust that all is well. You don't have to always be doing something, because that in society has been the detriment to us as a collective. And I am not about that life. Hope you guys aren't either. Okay, we've got 3. They all came out at the same time. We've got Roadrunner. Keep your sense of humour and don't take things so seriously. I love that one, especially at this time. Try to make sure you can have the joy in these moments, because, you know, especially if things are feeling a bit intense, you've got to kind of try and lighten up the mood. Blue Heron. Make a stand for what you believe in and do what feels right in spite of any judgment and disapproval from others. This is really interesting with the, you know, thinking things through, looking at the details and maybe making that major change. Maybe you're making decisions at this time that's taking your business in a different direction, or putting all your bets into something, or going for that love and taking it to the next level. And, you know, people are always going to have something to say, but who gives a toss? Especially when I think that you're manifesting something to do with love or business and things like that really matter to you. I always personally think that the less you show people, the better. And nothing against family, friends or whatever, but I really feel like do things in silence and let the success make the noise. Success being in love, business or whatever. So just follow your own like gut, heart, and, you know, persevere through. You don't have to do it completely alone. It's good to have a sounding board, but don't worry about what others think, because it's your happiness at the end of the day. And if you're deciding to go in a different direction, or you're doing something and you think your family or your friends or, you know, your partner doesn't agree, then you're going to compromise what you really want to do. And so that will always come back 360 on you, and then you'll resent the fact that you never did what you wanted to do. So don't live that one. Final one, Rattlesnake. The experiences that you're presently going through are an initiation into fulfilling your purpose as a healer. So there's, and snake, like shedding of the skin, transformation, Scorpio energy. Definitely, whether you resonate with being a healer, but I always think that we all have healing properties in all of us, whether we're doing a typical kind of, you know, outward public role as a healer. But as we are going through whatever we're going through at this point, we're healing ourselves. And when we heal anyway in ourselves, we provide space and act sort of that vibration to encourage others to heal. And it's an encouraging light beam, right? So it can be just healing energy of you just being present in a room around others, and they just really feel uplifted by your energy. So whatever you're going through at this time, no. But your business could be a healing type of business. Maybe it's bringing well-being and health. It's bringing healing. It's bringing transformation and support to the collective. It's helping to change the world. So that could be to do with one of your businesses if that resonates for you. So with that being said, what was at the bottom of this deck? Let's just see. Cardinal. The polarities of your spiritual pursuits and physical pleasures are out of balance, so do whatever is necessary to bring them back into equilibrium. Well, what was I saying? Taurian energy is about physical pleasures. It's about sort of the tangible, the 3D. And Scorpio energy, Scorpio is all about spiritual. And I said that at this time, you're going to need to find the balance between the two. Because if you focus too much on one and you don't connect with your shadow and do the inner work, then you will feel out of balance and you will feel out of equilibrium, and you won't be able to manifest and be in alignment as best as possible with your subconscious and your, you know, your masculine and feminine energy, really. So isn't that amazing? Something told me to look at the bottom of that deck. All right, well, I've loved doing this video. I've missed you guys. Stay posted. I have got a lot more coming. It's been a while, so it's payback season. There's going to be a lot coming through in the month of November and December and into next year. So I'm excited to share new content. Be doing some moon magic, moon manifestation stuff, some astrology stuff, but stuff around spiritual journey, how to become your best self, and some key topics that I think are relevant. So, thank you for spending time with me. I love and appreciate you all. Bye, guys.